Hi everyone. Today we are going to read chapter 5, The Dead Robots. So last time we were reading chapter 44, The Runaway, and the last few sentences were, "I was about to go," said Brightbill, "but I got nervous. I want you to go with me." "Let's go down together," said Roz, together. The Dead Robots. The gosling floated on the breeze beside his mother as she climbed down the cliffside. Down they went, past ledges and seagulls and tough little trees, until they were standing on the rocky shore of the cliffs looming behind them. The gravesite had changed. Roz's crate was gone, lost to weather or waves. Some of the robot's parts were gone too. Other parts were gritty with sand, or were tangled in seaweed, or were inhabited by small, scuttling creatures. One smashed torso still had a head and legs attached. Roz and Brightbill huddled around the corpses and studied the mess of tubes spilling out. "This thing used to look like you?" said Brightbill. "Yes, we are the same type of robot," said Roz. "And this robot is dead?" "In a way." "Will you ever die, Mama?" "I think so." "Will I die?" "All things die eventually." The gosling's face scrunched up with worry. "Brightbill, you are going to live a long and happy life." Roz laid a hand on her son's back. "You should not worry about death." The gosling's face relaxed, and then he pointed to a small round shape on the back of the dead robot's head. "What's that?" he said. Roz leaned in closer. "That is a button, which is a knob on a piece of machinery that can be pressed to operate." Brightbill began pressing the button. Click, click, click. "Nothing is happening," he said. "Probably because the robot is dead." Click, click, click. "Mama, do you have a button?" Brightbill watched as his mother's head turned all the way around and a small button came into view. "You've got one," he said. "I never noticed it before." "Neither did I," said the robot. The gosling giggled. "Oh, Mama, you have so much to learn about yourself." Roz reached for the button on her head, but her hand automatically stopped before she could touch it. She tried with the other hand, but it automatically stopped as well. "It seems I cannot press the button," she said. "Would you like to try?" "What will happen?" "I think I will shut down, but I think you could simply press the button again to restart me." "You think?" squawked Brightbill. "What if you're wrong? What if you wake up different? What if you never wake up? Mama, I don't want to shut you down." Roz turned her head back around and saw that Brightbill's face was once again scrunched with worry. She knelt beside him and said, "Of course you do not have to shut me down. I am sorry if I scared you. Are you okay?" "I'm okay." Brightbill sniffled and wiped his eyes. And then he heard splashing, otters playing in the ocean. He'd never seen otters before. He stared as they swam and dove and sloshed around with one another. They seemed to be having a ridiculous amount of fun, and suddenly the gosling was smiling again. "Hello, my name is Brightbill," he shouted over the waves, "and this is my Mama. Her name is Roz." The last time those otters had seen Roz, they had thought she was some kind of monster. But since then, they'd heard that she was remarkably friendly, and that she'd even adopted an orphaned gosling. And so the otters smiled at Roz and Brightbill. They swam straight over and splashed onto the rocks. "Hello there," said the biggest otter. "Nice to meet you both. Actually, Roz, we've met before. We've met once before, but you might not remember me. My name's Shelley." "I do remember you," said the robot, "but I'm glad to learn your name, Shelley." "You know each other?" said the gosling. "These otters were the first animals I ever met," said Roz. "They were the first animals who ever ran away from me." "Yeah, sorry about that," said Shelley as the other otters sniffed the robot's legs. "No, Brightbill, when we first saw your mom, she was packed in a box and surrounded by soft, squishy stuff." Brightbill's brow furrowed. "You wouldn't believe how small she looked, all folded up in there." Brightbill's nose sniffled. "We thought she was dead. And when we reached into the box, she came to life and climbed out looking like a sparkling monster. Brightbull's eyes welled up with tears, and then he felt his mother scoop him into his arms. "Are you okay?" she whispered in his ear. "I think I've learned enough about robots for today," he whispered back. "I'm sorry, Otters," said Roz, "but we really must be going." "I hope I didn't upset you, little guy," said Shelley. "I thought he'd like to hear how we first met." "Brightbull will be fine," said Roz, using a friendly voice. "But we have had a very busy day and we should go home. It was nice to see you again. Goodbye." Roz turned with her long strides as she carried her son away from the gravesite and over to the base of the sea cliffs. "Would you like to sit on my shoulder as I climb?" said the robot. "I feel like flying," said the gosling. "I'll meet you at the top." Brightbull flapped his wings and disappeared into the sky. Roz began scaling the wall. Up she went, expertly negotiating rocky columns and ledges, until she hoisted herself onto the cliff top, where two young bears were waiting. Okay, so tomorrow we will read The Fight. So now that we've read this, if you click down to the next slide, you are going to complete a stop and jot. So remember, stop and jots are different parts of the story that made you think about something. Maybe it was a funny part, a surprising part, something that you thought was important, a favorite part, a confusing part, a wonder part, something that you're wondering. Maybe it's a prediction. Anything really that made you stop for a moment and think about the story. Think about the read aloud from today. On this Padlet, so we're going to click here in just a moment, write one stop and jot from our reading. Don't forget to explain your thinking. You can go back and re-watch this read aloud if you need to. So you're going to go down to slide 5, click on this Padlet. It will take you here. Okay, and it says the wild robot. Click on the X in the corner to add your stop and jot. Don't forget to write your name. Okay, so you just click here. Okay, you can write your name as the title and then one stop and jot from today. So, my stop and jot might be, I wonder if the bears and Roz are going to get in a fight. Because I remember from the previous chapter that Roz had escaped from the bears. And now we know that the bears are back. We just got a little bit of a clue. So this is something that I'm wondering about. And notice how I put my name, I put my stop and jot, something I'm wondering about, and then I also put some evidence from the story. I look forward to reading your stop and jots.